What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/StoriesAboutKevin. This story's called The Tales of a University Kevin. I've just discovered this subreddit and decided this will be my little oasis to vent about this Kevin who's been making my unpaid job insufferable. I'm a university student, and I'm also part of the student council of my school/career. Being part of the student council means partly working as a guidance counselor for every year's freshmen, taking care of their problems and every student's problems, and a lot more stuff without being paid. We do get some benefits, which I thought were enough pay until the 2018 freshmen. They were all okay. We hold a yearly event where we add new members to our student council team, and we've been doing a all-accepted policy for about 2.5 years, so basically anyone who expressed any interest in doing something good for the student community would be automatically accepted. First mistake. Here comes Kevin. There's not enough space in this post, and I don't have enough energy to write all of what has been happening since I met him. I am not his friend. I do not like spending time near him and actively avoid him, but he always makes it so that everyone ends up involved in his daily shenanigans. To make this more readable, and also to protect my sanity, I'll try to summarize most and the worst of his events in a list. He managed to get into university because his aunt is the chief of security in our faculty. He didn't even present notes or a high school degree because he didn't even pass high school. We don't even know how this was allowed. My university is the best in the whole country. We study an art major. He doesn't like art. He just joined because there was a spot free and thought he'll be drawing all day, despite we specifically saying in the introduction course before anyone joins the career that we are not a practical school. We are studying to become art critics. So we literally spend the 5 years of the career reading. He thought that we were just bluffing and trying to scare him. He got furious and demanded a refund at the school's administration after his first 10 minutes into his first class ever for false advertisement because he had brought in his drawing pencils, actually just one regular old and chewed up pencil, and some white paper sheets, and the teacher had told him that they were not going to draw. Missed a whole semester because he didn't like the classes, but thought he was still past them if he didn't show up because he had enrolled in them. The school kicked him out, and he kept showing up to the university because he had class. Didn't bring any food any day for months because he thought the university would provide food for him since his aunt was the security chief, and then complained about how he was always hungry and that no one would give him food. He had money, he could buy it, he just didn't know how to. He ended up flirting with another freshman. This girl has some health and mental problems, one of which is that she looks like a 10-year-old. He got furious when he found out she wasn't 10, called her a liar and a bench, and screamed in front of everyone there, from all semesters, to never ever kiss her because she's not 10, she's actually 17. Then left, then returned, and then asked her if they could have sex, and leave again after being told no. After joining our student council team, he even showed up 2 days late to the events we organized, even though we shared the exact date and time in a WhatsApp and Facebook group chat where he's in. He's merely a team member, just joined, never supports or participates in any of the activities we do, but demands respect and that he should be treated as equal as if he was the president of the student council. We don't actually give any sort of special treatment to those who hold an actual title and administrative power, so I don't know how he got this idea. Even went as far as to introduce himself to the school principal after being kicked from the school by the principal herself as the president of the student council. In a meeting where we were discussing ideas for the new school year activities, he let himself in without being invited, listened for about 40 minutes, and then raised his hand to say that he had come up with some new ideas, and then proceeded to retell exactly all of the ideas that were said in the past 40 minutes. One day I was sick, tired, hungry, haven't slept all night because I was studying, angry, and was literally lying down on the floor, curled up with the hoodie over my head in the farthest corner of the hall. He came up to me, roughly took my hoodie off my head and asked, "Hey, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while." Sat down next to me and proceeded to tell me about something I didn't even listen to because I was trying not to punch him in the face. I firmly said, "Kevin, I don't want to talk. Leave me alone." He said, "Oh, well, if you want to talk, I'll be here." And he just sat there next to me, looking at me without blinking. I had to repeat at least 4 times that I wanted to be left alone before he got the message. Somehow, he ended up in charge of a shirt painting event to gather some funds. We believe that the person actually in charge needed to do something and told him to stay there for some minutes. People had to pay him to get their shirt painted. He thought they were just giving him money and shirts, so once he felt he had enough, he took all of the money and all of the shirts and went home. He never returned the money because he didn't know where he put it, and we found the shirts in a bag locked inside a bathroom stall. In a party, Kevin somehow convinced a drunk friend of mine to gift him the shirt he had on. So this drunk guy takes off his shirt at an outside party at 10 p.m. and is trembling so much you'd almost not see him. What does Kevin do? He notices the drunk guy still has another sleeveless shirt on and decides he wants that one too, so asks to have that one too. When confronted about this, he says that he was cold and refuses to give the shirts back. We ended up forcibly stripping him down and later found out that he actually had no shirt. He had come to the party shirtless, and that's why he was trying to get a shirt from someone else. This is the worst one of them all. When the signing up time for the next semester rolls around, the student council is the one in charge of organizing it. We always publish all of the information on our social media. The information is also printed and published in the school's gate. We have 1 week to sign up in classes, and in order to do this, we must do 3 different deposits in 3 different bank accounts. No deposits, no sign up. Students have until Friday, 2 p.m. to enroll themselves in their classes. But since it's first come, first serve, normally people who wait too much won't get a chance to choose the exact classes they want to attend and in the exact schedule they prefer. They mostly have to deal with whatever's left. So it's Thursday night and Kevin messages me on Facebook asking when the signups are. I tell him they end tomorrow. He asks how does he do the sign up. I sent him the link to the information. He asks me to explain it in chat because he doesn't want to open the link. I say no and to leave me alone since I need to do some work. He sends me a huge message about how his life is so horrible, how no one loves him, how he doesn't understand why the university is so hard, etc. I tell him to just read the instructions in the post I linked and that should help him because that's why we posted. I ended up leaving him on read. This conversation lasted for about 5 hours, but I'm summarizing it the best way I can because the level of stupidity in there was godlike. If this gets enough attention, I might consider uploading screenshots of it, but that'll also require me to translate them. Next day, I left early because I had work, but a friend filled me in and said Kevin showed up at 5 p.m. with just 1 deposit for the wrong amount and got angry when he found out that there were no more spots available in the classes he was supposed to take. Then asked if they could just kick someone out who had already and correctly signed up so he could take the spot. He didn't understand why there were no spots available. I explained that to him the night before. When told that the signups had ended at 2 p.m., he looked at his phone and said that it was only 3 hours after 2 p.m. and that he could still sign up because he was part of the student council. A week later, he showed up again, trying to sign up to the next semester and asked for my help. This time, he was sure he could sign up because he had all 3 deposits. None of the bank accounts on the deposits were the ones from the university. He explained that he had given the money to someone he had met on Facebook and asked him to do the deposit for him because he had no internet, even though he had been talking to them via Facebook. I asked him if he had given the correct numbers of the university's bank accounts to this person, and he said, "No, I just told him to do the deposits." That's all I can recall right now, and while writing this, I just noticed how this guy had also achieved to be some sort of male Karen and Kevin chimera, the holy grail of entitlements and stupidity. I now hate him even more. Edit. Someone pointed out, among other things, that I had some spelling mistakes. I corrected all that I could see, but might have missed some. Another thing this person pointed out is that my story is BS because the way my education system works isn't the same as theirs. I realized 2 things. I still have a lot to learn. I believe my English grammar was pretty good, but now I'm not so sure. After rereading my post for the first time after posting it, I'm worried it isn't as clear as I thought I made it. I'm also afraid I don't really understand quite well how the studies part of the language works. Words that I thought translated directly into the way English speakers call it seem to be wrong or understood in another way that isn't the one I want it to be understood in. So if anyone could kindly point me out and teach me the correct way to refer to this, I'll be super thankful. In the comments, I said that I live in a third world country to explain why the procedures to enroll in university seem so weird. While having breakfast, I was going over and over this statement in my head and realized that we may not be a third world country completely, but we do lack a lot of social and technological improvements. The truth is, my country is in a weird spot, socially, economically, politically, and historically. This means that while some things are super updated and here you can buy the newest iPhone, we struggle every day with things like electricity, water, and food. I don't know how useful this information is, or if anyone cares, but I realized that I was wrong in my assumption of me living in a third world country, and thought that I should somehow clarify before more people come over here and think I'm just BSing all of you. It's weird and hard to explain, but if anyone's interested or confused, I do my best to explain. Yo, how is someone that stupid able to function? What the hell? I don't know what this guy's home life is like, but jeez, that guy needs help. This story's called, My Dad is Kind of a Kevin. My dad isn't actually unintelligent. He just has no common sense or understanding of how the world works. He's a certified public accountant, so there's definitely something between his ears. He just doesn't know how to use it most of the time. Some classic stories. I wanted to attach a hook on the wall to hang my backpack from. My dad was afraid that the stud would rip out of the wall, not that the hook would rip out of the stud. That means the whole 2x4 stud would rip out of the wall. My backpack weighed 20 pounds max. My dad somehow became convinced that bears have 6 kidneys. I have no idea how he got this in his head, but it took finding a diagram of a bear's internal organs to prove him wrong. My dad asked me which way to turn coming out of Walmart. I said left. He asked how I knew. I told him because we made a right when we pulled in. He was flabbergasted. My dad couldn't figure out how to change the light bulb in a lamp in his room. It's not some kind of weird bulb, you literally just twist it and it comes out. My dad once held up the McDonald's line for 5 minutes while the cashier explained to my dad how the items he ordered added up to the total and how my dad hadn't been overcharged. I don't remember the exact scenario, but it was very simple. Remember, my dad's an accountant. There's a street across the town from where I live that has a similar name to the street I live on. They're definitely different names, but it would be an understandable mistake for someone who didn't know the area to mix them up. My dad has driven over to see me 4 times since I've lived here. All 4 times he went to the same street number as mine on the other road, and called me in a huff because he was outside some industrial building and not where I lived. Someone asked, so I'll tell you. The names are Country Club Road and Old Country Road. My dad is incapable of remembering the term steel toe and calls my work boots iron shoes. My dad tried to bake a cake for my mom's birthday. He put the pan of batter in the oven, set a timer, and went to do something else for 30 minutes, or whatever it was. He got back and couldn't figure out why the cake didn't bake. My mom laughed and said he hadn't turned the oven on. He then did the same thing the next year. When I was 23 and my dad was 46, I made a casual comment that this was the only time in our lives where I'd be half his age. He told me I would always be half his age. It took 5 minutes to explain to him. My dad tried to take out a flathead screw with a Phillips head screwdriver. And it's not like he just grabbed the wrong screwdriver. He repeatedly tried to turn the screw and then complained that the screwdriver was broken. He couldn't understand why I was standing next to him guffawing. My dad once tried to go to work in one brown shoe and one black shoe. Upon further inspection, he was also wearing 2 left shoes. Edited additional stories. I'm a welder, username can confirm. His username is MigMaster135. One time my dad wanted to watch me weld. I told him that I didn't have a second welding helmet for him to use. He asked if he could just squint really hard. He was serious. It took my dad a month to remember how to copy and paste. Apparently, right-click copy, right-click paste was too much for him. My dad got a piece of bread stuck in the toaster. He then, without unplugging the toaster, stuck a metal fork down in there to try to get the bread out. My mom stopped him before anything bad happened. I'm sure there are a lot more I can think of. If I come up with any more, I'll make an edit to include them. Also, thank you for the bless up, kind stranger. Oh lord, that guy. How do you... At some point, you should be concerned. And I think he's passed that point multiple times. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.